Drones come to the rescue. They can show a spectacular picture or help to see the event from a completely different angle. Today, our selection consists of videos captured on drone cameras. Enjoy watching! This beautiful building has a security guard who requires permission to record videos here. Give this video a like if you would like to also risk being on the top of this mountain. Surfing is not only a vivid impression of the waves, but also a great way to get acquainted with the local fauna. Well, at least the guy is already in the water and he can try to get a drone quickly. This shark is an outsider in their fun company. The view of an old sinking ship is truly fascinating. Chinese people have their own sense of style. Take a look at these huge gilded buildings. Tell me honestly, would you like to live here? So far, the birds are resolutely defending their right to the sky. What sight could be cooler than a party of whales and dolphins in the middle of the ocean? And here is another amazing party. If you use the board, drone, and rope correctly, you can easily cross any river. In addition, a good drone can walk your pet without any problems. But launching a drone at home is not the best idea. But it is better to do power yoga away from flying cars. I have the following question. When will this sport become a part of the Olympics? And such a beautiful building in India is ideal for a living. What could be more romantic than a sunset shot in the air? Of course, computer effects were added here, yet this place is still amazing. Welcome to the good old 2012. Not only birds don't like drones, but crocodiles don't like it when someone wants to break their privacy. This video was supposed to be incredibly spectacular, but one stone destroyed all the plans of the operator. These guys don't like being followed either. And this is what the consequences of a rockfall in the UK look like. Stingrays may be predators, but when larger fish appear nearby, for example killer whales, they have to flee here and now. You can always look at fire, water, and whales gracefully swimming in the middle of the ocean. He decided that just flying such a helicopter wasn't cool enough, so he added more special effects in real life. The best thing that can happen now is to swim with them. The seabed is fraught with an incredible number of unusual finds. Only incredible coordination of actions and discipline can give such speed. It is quite possible that somehow this is what paradise looks like. Andres Amador became famous for creating sand paintings up to 35,000 square meters in size. At low tide, he uses a thin stick tip to outline the shape and a rake for shadows. As soon as the artist manages to implement his idea and take a picture, the waves of the tide destroy his creation and the canvas looks pristine. These ancient geological formations are called the Stone Forest. They are located in the southwest of China in Yunnan province and were formed more than 200 million years ago. High rocks seem to grow straight out of the ground, and many of them look like petrified trees. There are many legends about the origin of the forest, and it is often called the first miracle of the Celestial Empire. The rice fields of China are striking in their beauty taken from a bird's eye view. The terraces where rice is grown are hundreds of years old. They rise at different slope angles, forming a magnificent, unique environment for human labor. This is how a humpback whale with a length of 15 meters fulfills its spectacular jumps. This species is very energetic and acrobatic, which has always attracted people's attention. I wonder what builders feel when watching the destruction of their building, when at one moment hundreds of hours of their work disappear. High-rise buildings are either dismantled or blown up. This multi-story building melted into dust clouds thanks to a spectacular controlled explosion. What looks to most people like a landscape from a fairy tale is a common thing for Greenlanders. Greenland is a land of majestic fjords and harsh northern nature. It is known for its green forests, snow-capped peaks, steep coastal cliffs, and amazing blue bays with icebergs. A huge boulder fell off the cliff. Rolling towards residential buildings, it stopped directly above one of them and split into two parts. The coast of Australia is famous for its waves, and in the vicinity of the small town of Hayden, you can see a very realistic wave frozen in stone. It's a semicircular ledge of granite rock stretching from east to west for 110 meters. In addition, the wave changes its color depending on the angle of the incidence of sunlight, playing with different shades. Bikini Atoll is a beautiful uninhabited island that has long remained a closed territory. The thing is that the United States chose it as a testing ground for nuclear tests in 1946. The inhabitants were taken out, and since then it has been uninhabited. Even after it was declared safe in 1997, its soil may contain toxic elements. One of the reasons to visit the state of Utah is the amazing ponds of bright blue, milky, and azure colors that were created by man. Potassium chloride and other mineral salts are extracted here with the help of artificially created evaporation ponds. From a bird's eye view, the evaporation ponds look just fantastically beautiful. There is a small Tremble Island in Canada, which is also called Trembling Island. It happens due to the strong shudders during the peak tides when a stream of water moves around. The trees on the island are dotted with numerous signs left by the crews of ships that stopped here, despite its peculiarity. In South Africa, on the territory of the Namib Desert, there are thousands of circles with a diameter of 12 to 15 meters, which are referred to as magic circles. The Himba people in Namibia believe that circles are footprints of the gods. Scientists have two main theories centered around termites and plant self-organization. Saba is a small island in the Caribbean Sea where many tourists dream of getting to for diving, hiking, and mountaineering. This tiny island has been hit by more hurricanes than any other island. Another interesting thing is that the landing strip here is considered the shortest in the world, so not every pilot will be able to land a plane here. Every year in February, visitors to Yosemite National Park in California can observe a unique natural phenomenon, the so-called fiery waterfall. This is the reflection of the rays of the setting sun in the water, which creates the illusion of a flow of lava and molten metal. Thanks to the footage shot on a drone in southern China, an expedition was organized and a giant karst sinkhole was discovered. At the bottom of it, people managed to find a primeval forest. When a group of scientists descended into the sinkhole, they found 3 large cave openings and an ancient forest. The height of the trees in it reaches 40 meters. The history of this island is dark and tragic. The plague spread rapidly throughout Europe, so the Italians turned the island of Poveglia into a quarantine zone, where the sick and those who were only suspected of the disease were exiled. Unfortunately, the treatment here was not effective, and the conditions were inhumane, and in the 18th and 19th centuries, more than 160,000 people died and were buried here. But even worse, in the 20th century, there was a hospital for the mentally ill on the island, which was subsequently closed. Now Poveglia Island is deserted, and it is guarded from unwanted admirers. On the one hand, Clipperton Island is not hospitable and difficult to access. The land here is barren and there is no fresh water. On the other hand, it is a paradise on Earth. However, the island has a terrifying past. In 1906, when trying to colonize it, 100 men and women were completely cut off from the world. As a result, tragic events took place there. The Celaya Landsfoss waterfall is located on the riverbed, which in turn originates on the glacier of the volcano. This is one of the most beautiful and famous waterfalls in Iceland. Despite the fact that it is not large in size, only about 60 meters, it is also worth visiting it for the sake of the fact that the interesting shape of the rock has a niche behind the water flow, which allows you to look at the waterfall from all sides. Cano Cristales is a river in Colombia which is known for changing its color due to different types of algae, which is why locals call it the River of Five Colors. In the dry season it may look like a stream, but at the beginning of spring, the river literally glows with all the colors of the rainbow. Its bottom is a unique natural landscape, including pools, almost circular depressions, and small but picturesque waterfalls. Typical rock formations of Cappadocia are erosion pillars, which make this region one of the most famous in Turkey. These pillars are the result of the actions of two geological processes, volcanism and erosion. Their height varies from the height of an adult to the height of a 10-story building, and they differ in shades because of the minerals they contain. Nowhere else on Earth is there such a place as Patagonia with its snow-capped peaks and plains of ice. It is here that the Perito Moreno Glacier is located. The glacier, named after the explorer Francisco Moreno, is 30,000 years old. It has staggering dimensions. The width of its tongue is 5 kilometers. The glacier is constantly moving about 2 meters per day, and the color of the ice depends on weather conditions and the degree of clouds. Absolutely fantastic, as if descended from the pages of a novel, Liechtenstein Castle is located off a cliff rising to a height of 817 meters above sea level, in a place called Honau. It was built in 1842 in accordance with the ideas of the 19th century about a medieval fortress. Interestingly, the lower rooms are carved directly into the rock that supports it. The romantic neo-Gothic design of the castle was executed by architect Alexander Heideloff. The official archipelago called the World is located a few kilometers from the coastline of Dubai. During the construction of the archipelago, the latest Norwegian and Japanese technologies were used. 300 artificial small islands were created and arranged in the shape of the 7 continents of the Earth. Engineers used coarse-grained sea sand from the bottom of the Persian Gulf, and in order not to be washed away by sea currents, they built a 26-kilometer-long breakwater from multi-ton boulders. Uyuni is one of the most incredible places on our planet, and it is also the largest salt marsh in the world. It occupies more than 10,000 square kilometers. Its inner part is covered with a thick layer of salt. During seasonal rains, a thin layer of water turns it into an amazing mirror surface in which the sky is reflected. The main value of the salt marsh is not limited to salt. There are about 100 million tons of lithium in Uyuni, which is necessary for the manufacture of batteries. Some time ago, an image of a sleeping woman in the snow in the mountains of Alaska became popular on the web. The author of the caption claimed that the photo was taken using a drone. However, to the disappointment of many, it is the creation of the digital artist Jean-Michel Bihorel, who posted it on his website and called it the Winter Dream. St. Lucia is a small country that is located in the Caribbean. The island is difficult to confuse with others thanks to the Pitons, two mountainous volcanic plugs which rise above the coast and surround a small picturesque bay. The hills of the island are covered with tropical forests. There are hot thermal springs and waterfalls. In addition, there are several national reserves on the island where endemic animals live. One of the most original architectural attractions of Darmstadt in Germany is a house called Forest Spiral, the author of which is the famous Austrian artist Friedensreich Hundertwasser. The snail-shaped 12-story building with a roof garden and an abundance of plants on the terraces is designed for 105 apartments, each of which is not like the others. The main idea is the unity of nature and the urban environment. One of the symbols of Reykjavik is the Lutheran Church of Hallgrímskirkja. The construction of the church was delayed and lasted 41 years until 1986. Its height is 74.5 meters. It is one of the tallest buildings in the capital of Iceland. The architect tried to give the church a shape similar to a volcano. The temple consists of 3 parts: a tower with distinctly curved side wings, in which service rooms are located, a traditional nave, and an altar part whose cylindrical dome resembles Viking battle helmets. Sigiriya is a lonely volcanic plateau in the central part of Sri Lanka. At the top of a 170-meter sheer cliff towering over the jungle, there are the ruins of an ancient castle complex. The plateau was formed many millions of years ago after a volcanic eruption. Since the 4th century BC, the surroundings of Sigiriya were inhabited by Buddhist monks. In 477 AD, the impregnable rock became a haven for King Kashyapa, who managed to build a majestic city with a fortress, gardens, parks, and unusual fountains. Later, Sigiriya was abandoned, and archaeological research began here only in the 19th century. Above the endless plains of Wyoming, not far from the pine forests, the Devil's Tower can be found. It rises almost 400 meters above the ground and is a sacred mountain for many tribes of American Indians. The Devil's Tower is interesting primarily for its unusual shape and is a unique geological formation. 200 million years ago, it was formed under the influence of pressure, creating magma from the bowels of the Earth, which froze in the form of elegant columns. In the north of the continent of South America, where Brazil, Venezuela, and Guyana meet, there are the so-called Table Mountains. It may seem like this place came straight from a sci-fi movie, but this is Mount Roraima. Its highest point is 2,723 meters above sea level, and the flat top is a plateau with an area of about 34 square kilometers. Travelers all over the world are impressed by it because it seems that the plateau hovers above the clouds. Montserrat is an island state and an overseas territory of Great Britain. In 1995, there was a catastrophic eruption of the Soufriere Hills volcano. Most of the country's residents evacuated, the capital was covered with ash and completely destroyed by lava. Now, most of the island is closed to the public, and locals live only in the north of the island in villages. In the heart of the South Pacific Ocean is Bora Bora, the main treasure of French Polynesia. The most striking attraction is a picturesque lagoon with the purest clear water and many small islands. They are called motu and have bungalows in the Polynesian style. It is also worth climbing the highest points of the island, that is, the peaks of Pahia and Otamanu, surrounded by orchards, thickets of orchids, and ferns. Feedlots for livestock are becoming more and more popular all over the world. The animals here can't move a lot, but they are in the fresh air and receive enhanced nutrition. These are modern complex efficient engineering structures consisting of aviaries, feeding tables, trenches, and much more. They say that Tokyo is unthinkable without Shibuya. This is the strangest and most confusing intersection in the world. During the time when the pedestrians are waiting for the traffic light signal, several hundred people gather here, and billboards illuminate everything around them at any time of the day. The Dead Sea is dense and saturated with minerals. It is 8 or 9 times saltier than the world's oceans. The salt deposits here are so incredible that you can even run on them. Usually dolphins gather in small flocks, but sometimes small groups unite for hunting or joint protection from white sharks. The incredibly beautiful Chinese village of Wangshan is located right on the slope of the cliff. I wonder what are the advantages of such housing in addition to the picturesque view. Modern bridges do not just connect the banks of rivers, but are real engineering masterpieces. The ring bridge over a shallow lagoon in Uruguay is no exception. It has increased passenger traffic and simplified life for residents of the coastal zone and tourists. The hammerhead shark has such a strange head shape for a reason. It helps it survive and get prey. However, this time, it's going to stay hungry. In the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, there is a Mescal Square, which scares even experienced drivers from other countries. As you can see, it is difficult to imagine how you can drive through this unregulated intersection. It is believed that dolphins are waiting for sets with waves, as well as people. Dolphin surfers masterfully catch a wave, and they do it solely for the sake of entertainment. Dragon Boat Festival is one of the national holidays that the Chinese adore. At this time, spectacular competitions on the water are organized everywhere. Boats are traditionally decorated with a dragon's head and a scaly tail. If you liked our video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode.